Hello, my technical drawing and design class. In this video, we are going to recreate Saturn, this model here. I'm going to do it probably a little bit bigger when I do this in scale, but this is what we're going to be doing. And all of this is going to be based off of this design that we pretty much drew out to give us a plan. What we figured out was we did a circle for the planet. Saturn has 7 rings. We can see that right here. And we often notice that these rings and the planet all seem to line up across one axis, which we determined to be our x-axis. We need a stand we're going to make an S out of, and we need a base. It's going to be right down there. We also notice that everything seems to go directly through this y-axis vertically. So if we happen to look on here, typically an x-axis, left to right, y up and down, and z front to back. That's pretty much the way we're going to work through this. In this video, what we're going to get through is the planet and the 7 rings. We'll do the stand and the base in another video just so this doesn't get too long. So let's go ahead and get started and create the planet. Go ahead and open up a new document. Mine's right here. I happen to name mine Craig_Saturn_demo. Name yours whatever you like. We're going to go ahead and start a 2D sketch off of the XY plane. Very good. And what we're going to do is create Saturn. So the way I found the easiest way to do this, I'm going to create an arc. My arc, I want my line to run vertical. So I'm going to give this first off this distance. I'm going to make this 6 inches, for instance. And then I'm going to press tab. I'm going to set my degrees to 90 because I want this to be perfectly up and down. And then I'm going to hit tab again. Make sure you hit the tab, that way it locks in both of these numbers that we just put in, and we can press enter. Now, how far out do we want this thing to go? We want to go half of our diameter, which will be our radius. So knowing that, we go 6 divided by 2. There we go. They gave us 3 inches. Simple math. But the neat thing is Illustrator can figure out the math for us. So I have my arc. Let me go ahead and finish off my shape. I'm going to grab this top of the arc, wait for my dot to turn green. I got it. That gives me my endpoint. Find here, get my dot to turn green again. I click, press escape, and I now have a half circle that has a line through the middle here. Exactly what I want. Down here it says 2 dimensions needed. What it wants to know is how far off of my left to right and how far from my up and down. I'm going to grab my dimensions. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put this thing on the axis. So I'm going to grab this point here. Actually, I'll grab the line this time. And knowing which axis this is, which is right down here, it says that my up and down right now is my y-axis. That's what's right here. I can click on the y-axis, and it's going to ask me how far off do I want this to be. Let's try that again. Oh, I was supposed to do that off the dot, off the endpoint, sorry. From the endpoint to the y-axis, how far off do I want this to be? I want it to be 0. I want it right on there. Perfect. This line turned black for me because it is fully dimensioned, but I still need to get how far up and down all of this is. So with my dimension, I'm going to grab that same endpoint. And now I need down here, I need the x-axis. There we go. And once again, I know that my ball is 6 inches. I want this to go halfway through the middle. So I'm going to go equal 6 divided by 2, which is also 3 inches. It's going to figure all that out for me. So everything is dimensioned in here. If I wanted to, I can move some of the stuff around. If I didn't want to have my numbers sitting right on this thing. There we go. I can move these around just so. Makes my life a little bit easier. There you go. Easier to see things now. Something like that. Perfect. Okay, so with that said, finish the sketch. Zoom out a little bit. And now we're going to add our first tool, which is a Revolve Tool. Grab Revolve. First thing we have to ask us is the profiles. We can go in the middle of each of these sections, or we can grab the outside perimeter, and I'll grab the whole thing. We'll grab 2 profiles, which is each of these 2 right here. So we're good there. And then my axis, I'll click down here. According to this, it's my Y axis. So I'm going to come over top of my Y. I can see it show up, a green line shows up right through here when I hover over top of it. So that looks good. And I'm having this thing do a full rotation, which is 360 degrees, which is giving me the ball. Exactly what I want. Nice, perfect ball. Let's rename this. I'll rename this thing Planet. The reason I'm renaming it is so when I start having a lot of different revolves in here, I don't want to have to go searching through each one to figure out what is what. I can just go find my planet. All right, now let's put the rings in here, and then we will be done with this video. Front video, or front facing with my view cube. I'm going to back out just a little bit. I can now see that I'm working again off of an XY. I'll start a 2D sketch. Hover over top of my XY plane. I can see it turn green over here, which is what I want. So I will go ahead and put that in. Now, what I did in class is I had you all go through and do each one of these rings individually. I'm going to do a little bit of an expedited way of doing it here, which it's just going to make things a ton faster. But the first thing we need to do is make our ring. I think for me, I am going to go with a width of 0.75. Yeah, like that. And then I'm going to make a height of 0.25. There you go. It has this nice little rectangle. Escape. Down here, I need 2 dimensions. So my first dimension is going to be from the top of this over to this axis, which happens to be the x-axis. So I can go find the x-axis. That distance, I want this axis to go directly through the middle of my ring. So knowing that my ring is 0.25 in height, I can go equals 0.25 divided by 2. Now put it right in half. There we go. Like that. Now the other dimension it's looking for is how far off of my vertical axis am I? So I'm just going to grab, I'm going to zoom in a little bit so I can grab this line easier. Here's my line. And I need the y-axis here. So I'll grab the y-axis, put this somewhere right here. And how far off do I want to start this thing? I'm going to probably start it off at, I don't know, let's go with 4 inches. They'll bring it nice and close. And there we go. I am fully constrained. Now in class, I'll grab this and I'll say, okay, go ahead and do the revolve and do this 6 more times, which give me the 7 rings. In this video, I'm going to show you a better way of doing it, which I'm going to grab the pattern here. I'm going to grab the rectangular. This is the array as if we were doing in AutoCAD. First, my geometry. I am going to grab these 4 lines. Oops. Geometry. There we go. I want these 4 lines. Perfect. Now I'm going to come here to direction 1, grab this arrow. It's nice and highlighted now. And it's going to ask me which direction do I want to take these things in. And what you're looking at is the direction the line is actually moving. So if I grab one of these 2 end lines, I'd be going up and down. If I grabbed one of these horizontal lines, I'd be going left and right, which is what I want. And this is all because I chose rectangular. So I'm going to grab this line here. You can see the green arrow showed up, which is exactly what I want. If I wanted to go the opposite way, I could flip it. But I want it going out. How many of these do I want in total? I want 7, because I have 7 rings. How much distance do I want between each ring? Let's go with 1 inch and let's see how this looks. So I'm going to say OK. Zoom out. That doesn't look too bad. If I decide maybe I want a little bit more space between these things, I can come here to this dimension for my array, and maybe I want to make this 1.5. Now let's spread out a little bit more. I think I like that a little bit better. So I'll finish my sketch. There we go. I have a fully constrained sketch. I have all my rings in here. So now let me go ahead and revolve this. I'm going to go ahead and select all of these rings at once. Again, in class we do this one at a time. But here I'm going to go ahead and grab them all. And then my axis right here is going to be right here, the y-axis. So y-axis. We are doing full revolve. Let's take a peek this way, see what it looks like. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I like this. I can say okay. And there we go. We have Saturn with its 7 rings. I could go through if I needed to. Well, actually, let me first change my name here. This is going to be my rings. I know what we have. If I wanted to, I could always go back and edit some of this. So yeah, it's like I want my rings just to be a little bit wider. So let's fix it. Instead of 0.75, you don't have to do this. I'm just showing you what you can do with this. What if I made it 1 inch? It's changing all of them because I did that array. I hit finish. Watch this. Bam! They're now 1 inch. I think I like that a little bit better. So that's what I'm going to go with. This gives us how to, what did we do? We did the sketches. We created a revolution for the planet. We created another one for the rings. And with the rings, we also did an array so we could do it all in one shot. This is the video. On my next video, we're going to create the stand and the base. Have any questions? Let me know.